Hello, everyone. With its record of 1.5 billion IPO earlier this year, online to offline marketplace BukaLapak has become a well-weather for technology startups seeking to list in the country. Now we are here to do the IPO analysis of BukaLapak. By the way, we are from the Future Valley Group of IPMI International Business School, class of 2021, consisting of Andrias, Teguh, Rita, Jessi, Yosia, and myself, Maya. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, okay? Before we get to it, I will take you to the points on what we will discuss on our IPO analysis on this video. So we're going to discuss firstly on the Indonesia's e-commerce, and next we're going to hear a BukaLapak overview, then the analysis, and the last one is the comparison analysis. Okay, now before entering the analysis on BukaLapak, we would like to take you to understand more on Indonesia's e-commerce market, just to get you a clear picture on the industry. From 2017 to 2020, retail sector has been growing quite significantly with 3 to 4% of annual growth and big jump during COVID era with over 10% of growth with a size of 141 billion US dollar. With the increase of internet and smartphone has led to rapid growth in the e-commerce, with beyond tier 1 cities is expected to grow of 48% in 2025 with a CAGR of 32%. So now that you can see Indonesia's e-commerce landscape is so unique. Indonesia is home to approximately 191 million of internet users, and that number is expected to grow to about 240 million by 2025. So you can see Indonesia is definitely a huge potential for e-commerce market. However, while a significant percentage of the target market has access to internet and smartphone, many of them still unbanked. You could see on the graph that 3/4 of the users are mobile phone users to compare to the web base, while the 98.2% of internet users is age 16 to 64 on a smartphone. Another important point worth noticing, with the development of e-money as method of payment, 73% of Indonesians still prefers to be using cash as method of payment for the transaction, because more than 83 million of Indonesians still don't have access to the banks. So now we can see that what actually driving the demand for e-commerce spending in Indonesia, namely the rise of approximately 50% of GDP of beyond tier 1 cities in 2025. Next is middle income growth with 63.5 million population is tech-savvy millennials and Gen Z generation. And of course, the increasing internet penetration and the surging in the new fintech and payment options, for example, the new variations of e-wallet or e-money. Next is government regulations, which provides incentives for investment. And lastly, the shifting customer habit due to the pandemic, which drives new shopping habit in the country. Now that you've seen the e-commerce analysis in Indonesia, now we are going to discuss about the BukaLapak overview from Jessi. On to you, Jessi.
Thank you, Maya. So we're gonna discuss a little bit on the BukaLapak overview, which you can see and hear that their vision and mission is actually to create a fair economy for all, which their tech-savvy economy where people have the opportunity to grow. Among of their core values are enabling customers to grow. They want to keep it simple, as simplicity is their key point. And want to go hand in hand in building the community, and don't forget to be fun. On 5th of January 2022, they recently newly appointed Wilix Halim as their president directors, and these are their new board of directors. And if you can see of their shareholders composition, their main ones are belonging to PT Kreatif Media Karya, which accounts for 32%, and 24% are actually held by public. During their IPO usage at the beginning, they plan to use 66% are used for additional working capital, and 34% of them will be used for subsidiaries, additional subsidiaries working capital, which their dividend policy plan to distribute at least 1 year at minimum, according to their retained earnings within the same financial period. And the next overview will be covered by my colleague, Yosia. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's talk about what are the revenue drivers. One is from physical and virtual product offering, which as you could see in their apps or web, they offer e-commerce marketplace where merchants can sell their physical goods or virtual products such as phone top-up, pay the bills, and selling ticket to the customer. BukaLapak also facilitate customer to make payment through digital payment services. From this business, BukaLapak earns commission and other streams of revenue, which are marketing fee and logistic revenue from its merchant. Second is from Mitra BukaLapak, where BukaLapak works with Mitra, offline micro retailers, to address the pain point that they have, such as limited income opportunities due to small physical shop and inefficient inventory management. BukaLapak offers their product and goods with lower costs through simple ordering system, using apps with same-day delivery. This will help Mitra, who has limited cash flow, to finance their inventory to expand their business. From this business, BukaLapak earn commission and other stream of revenue from their mitra. The last one is from Buka Pengadaan. BukaLapak more focused to the new company or businesses as solution of their sourcing. BukaLapak will act as the vendor that give quotation of requested order list and supply the goods based on purchase order that created by the companies. From this business, BukaLapak will record full revenue that also consists of the cost of purchase and margin from seller on marketplace from selling goods to the company. Based on its financial report, the biggest revenue is coming from marketplace revenue, while Mitra segment is contributing to a growing share of its revenue. Then, let's talk about their cost driver. From their financial statement, the cost of this business is derived from three major expenses, which are selling and marketing expense, the biggest expense, G&A expense, and other operating income or expense. To increase their revenue, BukaLapak provides more voucher, do some advertising, and pay the fee for payment channel solution. This selling and marketing expense is expected to increase in terms of amount in future period due to growth to their business, but decline as percentage of revenue as economic scale grow. For G&A, which most of the expenses coming from employee costs, internet, data storage, and utilities, is also expected to grow in terms of amount due to growth of the business. While for other tax or income, this is related to gain or loss on foreign exchange that have minor impact to the company since most of their business is performed locally. From its cash flow, BukaLapak still show negative cash flow from its operating activities, but has positive in cash flow from investing activities since they already shift to cloud-based servers and IT outsourcing, which result in lower capex needed. Next, so after their euphoria as the first Indonesia unicorn that IPO in IDX in July 2021, the question is why the price keep decreasing even up to 2022 is keep decreasing to all-time low. Let's see our analysis on the next slide, please.
Yes, it's me to talk about the BukaLapak analysis. So we talking about the fundamental analysis that we are comparing from 2018 to 9-month report from 2021. So actually from the liquidity ratio or current ratio, they are growing when we're starting from 2.3 until the third quarter of 2021 is 25.02. And also the efficiency ratio or asset turnover ratio, they are going to. And when we're talking about the net profit margin, even though still on the negative percentage, but they are growing actually. So they from minus 765%, and in the quarter 3 of 2021, so they are growing into minus 83. So actually they are doing well based on the last 3 years. And also the financial leverage for 1.57 into 1.04. So the key point of the quarter 3 of 2021 performance, they are increasing in current ratio due to additional of cash from IPO capital, and decreasing in asset turnover ratio due to higher asset or cash, but not significantly increasing in sales, and decreasing in debt to asset ratio. And they are doing better of operating loss and net loss margin due to high of sales, especially from Mitra O2O, and more efficient in operational. But when we look at the technical analysis and how market respond about the stock in the BukaLapak, when they are first launching in the 9 August on 2021, they are in 800 rupiah. But now in 19 January 2022, it's decreasing to 370 rupiah, or around minus 53%. It's a very decreasing. So the possibility, we can say that financial performance does not beat analyze expectation. Downtrend, and many analysts recommending to sell the stock of BukaLapak. And the third one, investor get margin call. And the last one is the possibility is strategic investor to sell the stock. And also the BukaLapak got the headline in the Bloomberg, so Indonesia largest IPO turns into a flop as a BukaLapak falls. So the headline is BukaLapak's market cap has shrunk around 66% since record IPO in 2021. And also Indonesia is set to set the tax IPO also after BukaLapak, which is Goto and Blibli in the 2022. So next to Pak Andrias.
Thank you, Pak Teguh. Now we're going to do some market ratio for a more comparable analysis. In this case, we're going to pit BukaLapak against its competitors and peers. Since BukaLapak is the only e-commerce marketplace in Indonesia's stock exchange, we're going to have to use samples from different countries. For this specific case, we will look closely into C, although it is listed in the US stock exchange. However, it is actually the holding company for Shopee in Indonesia, which is the closest to direct competitor for BukaLapak. Since BukaLapak has no positive earning just yet, we cannot use PER or the price earning ratio, just return a negative number. So instead, we will use a price to sales and price to GMV ratio. Sales here simply means the income or the revenue for BukaLapak, while GMV means the value of goods being transacted on the BukaLapak platform. On this table, we can clearly see that the price to sales for BukaLapak is much higher than industry average. In fact, it is almost 60% higher than Shopee. Now, is it of a price? If we look on the other side, the price to GMV, we can see the contrast. Here, BukaLapak is much lower than the industry average. It is 80% lower than Shopee. It's a massive difference. So what it means, BukaLapak has a high volume and value of goods going through its platform. However, despite having this good foundation, BukaLapak is yet to maximize its revenue streams. The revenue streams could come in the form of merchant fees, ads, or merchant tiers, and so on. And furthermore, Shopee and other competitors like Amazon, eBay, they have other revenue streams. Specifically for Shopee, they have Shopee Pay, Shopee Food, which is something that BukaLapak does not have just yet. Now, if we use a C or Shopee price to GMV as reference point, and we give it 50% discount, already we could set BukaLapak target price at 900 to 1,000 rupiah, which is higher than the current price right now. So how is BukaLapak going to increase its sales? Now, this chart is showing the ecosystem landscape for all the big e-commerce players in Indonesia. BukaLapak is still mainly relying on its e-commerce platform and nothing more. It has started to sell some bookkeeping apps on a SaaS model, but subscription is still fairly low at this point. Compared to GoTo or Grab or Shopee, BukaLapak is still some way behind. What's interesting is how Grab, in a way, actually own a part of BukaLapak. And there were rumors in the media of some synergies being proposed. However, nothing is concrete just yet. And what advantage will Grab see in having a synergy with one of its main competitor? And finally, from the price to book value standpoint, BukaLapak again seems underpriced. It has lots of cash from the IPO. What matters for the investors, however, is how BukaLapak will use this cash, this mountain of cash, in investing. The strategic plan, the growth story will be fuel for any stock price increase. But so far, investors are not bought in yet. And BukaLapak performance since the IPO has been under the analyst consensus.
Okay. Thank you. Now we are reaching to the conclusions and recommendations based on the information given by my colleague. To buy the stock, investors should consider fundamental and technical. However, in this fast growth of e-commerce trend, investors look at the future and the big potential growth, especially for Indonesia market. Many analysts calculate using different approach to consider the stock is worth to buy, such as price to GMV or price book value, and many other ways to show whether the valuation is reasonable. After IPO, BukaLapak got 23 trillion rupiah. It is very good money. If we are using the calculator to calculate, if the company has consistency of loss of 1 trillion per year, we can see that the BukaLapak can survive in another next 23 years. However, if company don't use the money for investment for the growth of the company, while they are focusing on the acquisitions or joint venture or become holding of investment company, investor will soon or later leave this BukaLapak stock. So from our group, things that we recommend to sell this BukaLapak stock or to retain for the very long-term period. Well, the decision is back to your objectives as the investor or as a trader. That's all about it, the presentations from Future Value Group of Corporate Finance class from Professor Roy Sembel. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for these presentations. Hope you like and subscribe.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Speculate by BukaLapak. Speculate.